Hello, Internet. I was asked to provide a short overview, not just about coding an artificial intelligence system, but where can I find resources about AI and society. So I have no idea. I have just two sources I regularly visit. This is MIT Technology Review. And then if you want to know what's going on in Europe, there's the European Parliament or the European Commission you can check out. Unfortunately, I have no resources in China. Sorry. So let's have a look. What's going on? We are in June 2022. And from the European Parliament, we have something from July 2022. So we are in summer of 2022. How does America see this beautiful thing? And we have here MIT building a better society with better artificial intelligence. Yippee! Oh, I just see in association with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and it is sponsored. So, okay, at least they tell us that it is sponsored. So let's have a look at this. Let's stay at first maybe with the American view. Building a better society with better AI. Vast potential, offer innovations in every facet of society. Yes. Innate bias in humans, yeah, of course. We have opinions and we are really sometimes not easy to access to facts to be convinced. As humans, we are highly biased. As the global head of the Deloitte AI Institute and tech and AI ethics lead at Deloitte. He's the tech and AI ethics lead at Deloitte. Okay. Very highly likelihood of section of society being left behind. Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, great. Projects that begin with good intention can still up biased if systems are trained with biased data. Yeah, of course. Algorithmic bias, now the AI becomes biased. Yes, this is true. Now we have Hewlett-Packard Labs and Vice President of Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. We can have a challenge because we have an algorithm that is not capable of handling diverse input, or because we haven't got a broad enough sets of data to incorporate into the training of our model. Yes, this is true. This is a realize better. Here we go. Now, what does US, how does the US see a better society with a better AI? Simply obtaining more and more diverse dataset is a formidable challenge. Data sharing brings up many concerns, not at least of which are security and privacy. Yes. Right now, we have a situation where individual users have far less power than the vast companies that are collecting and processing their data. Hey, this is nice. Yeah, of course. Boulder, University of Colorado. Yes, 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 somebody with a brain says something right. It is likely that expanded laws and regulation will eventually dictate when and how data can be shared and used. Expanded laws and regulation. Not about common sense with human beings, about being responsible. Okay, we have to regulate everything. Okay. But innovation doesn't wait for lawmakers. Wow, welcome to the world of today. The onus of the onus. Help me, what is the onus? Gee. A disagreeable necessity. Jesus. The disagreeable necessity is on AI developing organizations to be good data stewards, like Facebook, protecting individual privacy, like Facebook, while striving to reduce algorithmic bias. Yes, say nothing. You know what I'm thinking. Because technology is maturing so quickly, it is impossible to rely on regulations to cover every possible scenario, says Deloitte. Hey, we have a business consultant that say technology is moving so fast, so we cannot have regulations. I guess you guessed it. Yes, you have to hire a business consultant to figure out for you. We are going to enter an era where you are balancing between being adherent to existing regulations and at the same time self-regulating. So this is a hybrid. This is a Twitter. You are self-regulating as long as your profit line is not concerned in your company, and you are being adherent to existing regulations. This is a good idea. You can always choose between what you want to do. This kind of self-regulation means raising the bar for the entire supply chain of technologies. Oh, it's your supplier, it's not you, that go into building AI solutions, from the data to the training to the infrastructure required to make these solutions possible. Yeah, it's true. Companies need to create pathways for individuals across departments to raise concern over biases. Oh yeah, I read about this in the news. There was a woman, very, very qualified AI. She raised concern and she found her pathways out of the business. Hey, wow, yeah, I remember. Because of the highly contextual nature of AI, self-regulation will look different for each company. Hey, we are lucky that we have such beautiful help from Deloitte and the other business consultants. Eh? Now it's sponsored context. Hewlett Packard established some ethical AI guidelines. Yes, commercial, we want to raise the issues. Yes. I mean, it's positive that they do something. Technologists have reached a maturity with AI that has progressed from research to practical applications. Hey, somebody drove a Tesla recently. And value creation across all industries. Welcome to the real world. The growing pervasiveness of AI across society means that organizations, it is the big tech companies that now have an ethical responsibility to provide robust, inclusive, and accessible solutions. Of course, I mean, they would value ethics more than their basic profit lines. Of course. This responsibility, yeah, okay. I think the American view is easy. It is beautiful. Tech review, beautiful. So this is June 2022. MIT. It is to organizations that have the ethical responsibility. Yes, yes, yes. And if not, you have the two-opt system. You know, you can either self-regulate or wait for the lawmakers who are lagging behind. Oh my goodness, it is so easy. If you have the money, if you have the power, you can define the world. Beautiful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was the American view. Let's have a look at the European view of things. Here we go. So, welcome to the European world. I've chosen this because we're here at the European Parliament. So the body who more or less signs in law together with the Council of the Ministers and the European Commission and a lot of other bodies, but this is the Parliament. And we have there an in-house panel for the future of science and technology. And they provide the guidance to the politicians, to the people voting on new laws. So they are in a highly influential position. And we have on the 11th of July 2022, a new study. They did propose the contracted to governing data and artificial intelligence for all. Yeah. Models for sustainable and just data governance. Okay, I like it that we have another point of view, another perspective to this. Not just who has the money and who has the power can do everything, but I do like that in Europe they care about the system thinking, about the complex interwoven societal pattern that they're gonna break. The study identifies and examines policy options for the use data governance framework. So we are talking here about the policy option. This is not the self-responsibility of the big Facebook of this world, but we are talking about law. A data justice approach is on is one that centers on equity, recognition, and representation of plural interests. Maybe let's make it a little bit bigger. And the creation, this is the European creation and preservation of public goods. Public good, yes, I remember. So an assessment of EU data governance strategy, overall and specific policy option for the AI Act. Heaven's sake. Here we are. Governing. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Models. European Parliament Research Service. Scientific Foresight Unit. July 2022. Authors. Who did it? Authors. The study was Tilburg University. I think they're in the Netherlands. And they are, I think they focus on society. Give me a second. Tilburg University. High quality research in the fields of research, law and governance. Research, humanities and digital sciences. Okay, I see why they got the study. Research, social and behavioral sciences. Okay, theology, well, Catholic Church, no. Okay, research humanities. Okay, I see. Tilburg University. Here we go. Tilburg University. Nice. Somebody who seems to know about the topic they're writing. Executive summary. No, our key findings. We read this later. Where's the study? Where is my content? Table of content. Our approach to analyzing data governance. What is it? What is the place? The fluid nature of data and AI. Gee, I'm so glad that finally our politicians will have a presentation on the fluid nature of data and artificial intelligence. Review of dominant data governance models. Okay, this is for policy. What are the key principles and features of good data governance? Review of EU policies. We are on page 50. Policy options and alternatives. A data justice analysis, page 60. Discussions and conclusions, 65. Discussion and conclusion, 65. Since we are geniuses, we are doing AI, so I hope this will be for us. We find that, can we make it even a little bit bigger? Yeah, okay. We find that AI is not a democratic class of technologies. I hope they do not use the Python definition of a class here, either in terms of development or of use. Developing and deploying AI system at scale is and will remain for the foreseeable future a privilege that is mainly accessible to the most powerful actors in society. Hello, Facebook, whether commercial or public sector. This is so true, and you remember that in the US there are now a lot of initiatives that they say, hey, universities too should have access to these large language models. And there are a lot of combinations of interdisciplinary research where a lot of departments of a university combine, and they also want to get into the financial power, but also have access to the mainframes and to the non-public models. Think about GPT-3 a few years back. We'll continue to rely on large-scale commercial computing infrastructures. Hello, number 3. That we are built to channel the power to analyze and intervene to those with the most resources and capacity. Same thing. The central question has a positive vision for AI. AI contributing to public goods and creating public value. This would be the dream. This would be the ideal. Okay, that strongly incentivizes good behavior on the part of those developing and deploying the systems. So, my friends, this is us. They want to strongly incentivize good behavior on our part, and we're willing. We want to do the best that we can do for our job and for society. Between different interests with regard to public and private goods, we have offered a justice-based analysis. Yes, beautiful. Reframe the challenge of governing AI from maximizing business value. Welcome to the US. While preserving fundamental rights, the right to carry a weapon, to creating multiple forms of value that can serve differing and plural societal interest. Q. Multiple forms of value that can serve differing and plural societal interests. We defined 4 areas of which data and AI governance could serve in order to be qualified as good. Preserving and strengthening public infrastructures and public goods. Inclusiveness. Inclusiveness is important. Accountability, finally, and global responsibility. Okay. I think it's good if somebody thinks about this from a systemic point of view and not just let's program another AI and see what happens when we apply it in an uncontrolled public environment. Core set files analysis so that draft framework pertaining AI would be complemented by benchmark for good governance and public value. We highlight the importance of a collective will and decision-making on the part of societal groups. Who are those groups? Combined with the normative orientation toward public value as an important consideration for governing AI and data. The AI investments in public infrastructure, yes, could be made to reflect plural understandings how data generates value. Oh yeah, this is important, especially in terms of both large and small scale computing and data infrastructures. Plural thinking and input of digital infrastructure could help to support and build public goods within the EU. Yeah. AI should help insights for human being and not substitute human jobs. We also argue that the current thinking of AI leaves civil society overexposed to exploitation and rights violation. Yes, this is the US system. Any problems with this? And that multiple paths to civil society power over AI development and deployment exist that are not yet being explored. Well, you can say this is true. To the framing of AI systems or model as single products rather than as components of a field of research. Systemic view. A set of dynamically evolving systems that will be used in different ways to generate different kinds of value over time. So we have an evolving system that will be used in different ways and to generate different kinds of value. A very clear and precise statement. Please try to code this in Python. A key measure to counteract this uneven power balance could be digital constitutionalism. Digital constitutionalism, an overarching set of aims regarding rights and the equitable distribution of power. Okay, could somebody please explain to me what is digital constitutionalism? I do understand an overarching set. It's a mathematical set of aims regarding the human rights each and everybody has, and the equitable distribution of power. The distribution of power regarding to what? I mean, if you're an international corporation and an international holding with millions and billions of dollars, the distribution of power is clear. I mean, look at Facebook. This approach to lawmaking and regulation by emphasizing the structural balancing of power between different societal, governmental, and business actors, and paying attention to the ability to make claims where power is misused, yes, we have seen this is a great success, has the potential to provide a holistic and substantive guide toward realizing good governance. Hello, Dreamland. So again, what we as AI coder have to do, this approach to law, by emphasizing the structural balancing of power between different societal, governmental, and business actors. So the society has power, the government has power, and the business actor have power, but they are completely different. And suddenly, with the emerging of AI system, they start to notice that they could do some regulation concerning those 3 interactive groups. Welcome! Wow! Progress! Approaches that are potentially relevant to this problem include data trust and data commons, which are predicted on establishing controls for data flows. Wow. That would in turn give sectoral and interest groups understanding of how data is being used for AI application in a given area. I like the notion of interest groups. Are those the interest groups that sponsor MIT? Okay, how data is being used for your application. I mean, it is important. It is a very important topic. But do you really want to give this to European politicians? If data which flows between sectors, organizations under the provision of the Data Act or the Data Governance Act becomes part of a legally designed collectives and answerable to those interests. This should be it. You should be responsible and you should have to answer, yes. But try to do this against Facebook. You're welcome. When the use of data out of line with public interest. So easy to write, so hard to handle. Developing public infrastructure for AI. Oh yeah, we here in Europe, we're lagging behind. Big. Payoff in terms of the development of public interest technologies. Yes, you can trade public interest technology on the stock market. The logic is visible in the infrastructure need of collectives who are using technology to preserve language as a component of the right to self-determination. I don't want to understand this. Enabling smaller ecosystems to survive within these infrastructure require making it possible to center governance and power in the hands of the local developers or the community, rather than passing it on to the owners of computing infrastructures. I mean, it sounds good in theory, but how you want to do this? We also see potential benefits in structuring governance to foster civil society agency in governing data, namely through using sectoral and local organizations, here we go, such as associations, interest groups, municipalities, and provinces. I mean, it would be great if everybody takes interest and cares about this and wants to have a responsible data regime implemented on a regional or national level. With AI system post-development and to feed that information into the oversight system. Oh wow, the oversight system. That's a nice term. In a continual and responsive way. I mean, in theory, yes. Yes, of course. I mean, research is doing this anyway. But what is the oversight system? Civil society agencies? Okay, I'm not a European politician, so I can tell you. Such a distributed domain-related oversight infrastructure. A distributed domain-related oversight infrastructure. I don't know if I like this term. Could serve as a tool for identifying incremental harms of the kind most likely to occur with AI and data analytics systems. Where a critical mass of complaints. Have you heard of complaints in China? No. Builds over time from individuals who are affected enough to make a claim. Yes. Something has to happen. Your rights have to be violated. Then you have to make a claim. You have to go to court. You have to sue them. It takes you years. And then your rights may be reinforced. This is the actual situation. Welcome. The oversight and enforcement apparatus, oh, I love apparatus, sounds so Soviet, for making claims about data harms is overloaded and dysfunctional. Congratulations, we are living in the same world. A more efficient system could make use of sectoral bodies and interest groups for monitoring the effects of new and existing digital technologies on the groups they serve and for channeling claims when things go wrong. I mean, again, yes, in theory, yes, this should be it. It should be clear to each and everybody, but yeah, how you want to finance this? Such a distributed intelligence system, no, distributed system, not intelligent, would also address the issue of democratizing the process of oversight and enforcement with regard to data and AI. So they want a distributed system of these different bodies that would address the issue of democratizing the process of oversight. Okay, oversight and enforcement. Yeah, of course, you have to implement responsibility even for big tech companies with regard to data and AI. As powerful technology is increasingly used on the public in ways that are opaque to individuals, as we identify gaps in oversight and enforcement structure with a public-facing component that can demonstrate democratic accountability and therefore are More representative society. Gee, I'm so glad I'm not a European politician. I didn't even understand the sentence. And this is one sentence, and I did not get it. Okay, again. As powerful technology increasingly used on the public in ways that are opaque to the individuals, as we identify gaps in oversight and enforcement structure with a public-facing component that can demonstrate democratic accountability and therefore are more representative of society. Wow. Wow. This is a challenge to expect legal professionals to recognize emergent harms in diverse society. I would love to see a lawyer capable of reading Python code or PyTorch or TensorFlow and understand what's going on with the individual human rights. I mean, in theory, yes, but how you want to implement it without a direct connection to civil society, and is also a challenge to civil society to identify and see, yes. Finally, we are done. Our analysis makes the case for the EU to further conceptualize what kind of public good it considers that data should be. Now you're crashing me. After all of this, where you show so a theoretical understanding that is really admirable, but you lack any real implementation steps. You say the analysis makes the case to further conceptualize what kind of public good it considers data should be. I mean, you don't even know what kind of public good it is, and you need another concept. Gee, I hope Europe is not doomed by its bureaucrats and politicians. The legal framework clearly gestures toward creating public value from data, but the mechanisms are unclear and vary across legislative instruments. Well, of course, it was designed by politicians who do not understand at all what's going on right now in this part of the industry. And this study should have helped them. And I'm not sure if this study really shows the problems we are facing in AI. Option from sentence comparison. Yeah, of course. The FAIR principle. Yes, of course. Wow. Governing data and artificial intelligence for all. Wow. Hey, you wouldn't believe it. MIT Technology Review from April. They cite MIT. Hey, that's great, but unfortunately they're a little bit behind. I mean, this is the nice part. In America, they tell you, hey, you are screwed because those big tech companies, they have all your data. They can do more or less whatever they want. And even if somebody from within their organization speaks up, you know what's going to happen to that person, to that expert. And they say, yeah, it is the self-regulation of the industry who is looking to have the maximum profitability. And the rest is self-regulation of companies, of international molochs. Wow. So, what do you think about this beautiful European study? Any ideas on it? What do you think about it? Is it too precise? Does it give too many implementation steps? Are you overwhelmed by the systematic categorization of the potential risks that we are facing? Enjoy your day.